Hello everyone, and welcome back to my channel. I'm a little nervous and I'm going to tell you why. For the first time in the 4 years that I've been on Booktube, I've created my original tag. As some of you know, I've also, for the first time, created a solo event on Booktube, the Maya Angelou Phenomenal Woman Readathon, and it's been going great. But during my life, I have not always felt like a phenomenal woman. I struggled with anxiety, I still do, and I've struggled with other things that a lot of other women struggle with. Raising 4 children on a very limited income, getting divorced, all the things that happen to women. And next year I will be, if I make it, 3/4 of a century old. And I heard this on one of my oldest friends, my very oldest friends, is hitting 75 this August, and I'm hitting 74, hitting it. But I met Maya Angelou in the 80s, in the late 80s, when I was going through a particularly difficult period, and I talked about this in another video. And she gave me some tools that helped me become the phenomenal woman I am today, along with other things that I did. And books was a big one of them. Going to a therapist, writing. I wrote diaries all my life. I wrote poetry. I even wrote a book, a memoir, that helped me discover that I was enough, as Maya Angelou told me in that little conversation that we had. Anyway, I wanted to be real with you because I'm from Brooklyn and we're real people, and maybe this is too much information, but those who care about me on this platform will understand. And also, I do the Mental Health May with Kim of Middle of the Book March, and we talk about personal issues because we're trying to continue a conversation about mental health, because it's so important to talk about things that are difficult. So I'm glad that you're still with me if you are. So my Phenomenal Woman book tag, my first book tag that I made up myself. And why didn't I make up a booktube? Why haven't I created a booktube all these years? I didn't feel that it would be watched. I didn't feel that people would, and this is stupid, right? That people wouldn't do it, wouldn't share it, and would make me feel bad. But I've grown, even in these 4 years that I've been on Booktube, because it's not easy sometimes to get in front of a camera and just talk. I still have those insecurities that I had growing up. They're still there. I'm able to overcome them, and that's why I wanted to do this tag this month in August, when I started Booktube 4 years ago. Okay, is that enough? Let's get on to the Phenomenal Woman book tag. So there's only 4 prompts, and I like to make whatever kinds. I never made a tag before, but I like to, when I talk about when I do other people's tags, I really enjoy that a lot of them are short, so I don't have to really struggle with them. So I don't want anyone to struggle. So one prompt is, who is your favorite phenomenal woman author? We all have one, right? 2, what book features your favorite phenomenal woman characters? And this could be any kind of book, any genre, and there's so many wonderful characters in books that I can't. For me, I love Francie from A Tree Grows in Brooklyn by Betty Smith. And she's also my favorite author. So, because she helped me look at my roots and see how someone who came from the same neighborhood that I did could rise above and do amazing things. And one of the amazing things that I've done in my life is actually move out of New York City. Now, I'm not, like saying New York is a terrible place, but for me at that time in the 1970s, I was going through some really, really rough period in my life. And the fact that I moved to Hawaii, where everyone thought I'd be back in 6 months, to New York, and I stayed here for 40 years, is one of the achievements that I can say with pride that I was able to do something out of my comfort zone completely. So, Betty Smith. Number 3, if you were creating a book prize, and I know that book prizes are very popular on YouTube, on Booktube, which book by a phenomenal woman author would you choose? Now, this could be a book by a phenomenal woman author that already won a prize. It could be someone that's new, that hasn't won any prizes at all. It's just your decision. Who do you think? If you are creating a book prize, the woman's prize, the phenomenal woman's prize, who would you pick for that prize? And I don't know who I would pick yet. I don't want to keep on saying Betty Smith, because there's so many phenomenal women authors that are out there who have won prizes before. So I'm going to think about that one when I hear what your choices were. The 4th is to tag some phenomenal booktubers. The greatest pleasure that I've had doing Booktube is the people that I met. And I know a lot of people say this, but I've met women that are so special to me that I can consider them best friends, even though I've only met a few of them. So there are many others, but I'm going to tag a lot of people, and I hope that the people that I tag will tag people that aren't on this, so we can make this my original first tag. We could make it grow, and that would be great for my birthday, which is on the 24th, and I would really, really love it. So here are the people that I'm tagging, and I'm tagging a lot of people. First of all, Kim of Middle of the Book March. Like I said before, we do Mental Health May together, and she's also helped me with some insecurities about being in front of the camera that I really, really appreciate. My new best friend, Pat, from Book Chat with Pat, has been so inspirational to me, so loving to me, so caring, that I have to say that I'm so grateful that I've met her, that she joined Booktube. Now, Roz at Scallydandling about the books. I have to admit, when I first started watching Roz, I really never heard the word scallydandling before, but I looked it up, and it's a good word. And it's a good word when you're really reading a wide variety of books. So, Roz. And of course, Berna from Berna's Bookish Adventures, the Turkish booktuber, maybe the only English Turkish booktuber that I've seen. We've become very close friends, and She's a wonderful person. If you haven't checked out her channel, she has Turkish words at the end of all of her videos. And I have to admit, I write them down and think maybe one day I can meet Berna. And she's a wonderful booktuber. And we also love mysteries, which, yeah, we've been losing some booktubers who were mystery booktubers predominantly. I'm thinking of Janelle from Too Fond of Books, and also Alice at Alice's Giant Bookshelf. May they rest in peace, and may their memory be a blessing, as we say. Of course, I can't not talk about Jack from Spread Book Joy. She showed me that I could love children's books. Along with Lindy at Lindy's Magpie Reads, they read a variety of middle grade books, of children's books, picture books, that brought back a lot of great memories for me of my childhood reading children's books, and that I can still, that the books that are coming out now are so different from the books in the 50s when I was a child, that I'm amazed every time I read a book that is middle grade, young adult. Who else? I already said Pat. Okay. A new booktuber for me is Renee at Beyond Books. I hope I'm saying Beyond Books, where she reads and goes beyond. And her wonderful little dog, Raina, who I love to see every time I see her books. So she's a new friend and a newish booktuber. I love Katja from Through the Pages with Katja. I love that she reads translated fiction, which is a new go-to genre for me. So check her out, because she's a great person as well as a great booktuber. Another great booktuber who I look up to is Sarah at Hardcover Hearts. I always find a book from her videos that inspire me. She's so smart. She's super smart, and she travels. And I love to hear her traveling adventures. So next is Angelia from Read and Reread. And one of our first back and forths was that she says, "You got my name right," because I think a lot of people thought her name was Angela, not Angelia. But I love Angelia. She's wonderful. I think she was, forgive me if I'm wrong, Angelia, a school librarian. There are so many librarians and teachers. I was also a teacher for a short period of time, like I would say less than 10 years. And I taught teaching English as a foreign language in Japan, and also English as a second language in Hawaii. Okay, now, I don't know if Priscilla does many tags, but I see you, Priscilla, at Evening Reader. I'm a night reader, so she's a great booktuber as well. And she's so funny, so smart. I think she's also a writer. So, yeah, Priscilla. A new one for me, when I say new, I was subscribed, but I wasn't watching their videos until recently, is Natalie at Curious Reader. So also very smart, and I've just watched a few videos lately, and I really like her. Ashley at Ashley's Little Library, who does mysteries as well. And I've been watching her on and off since I think for 4 years. And my darling Kelly at Books I'm Not Reading, who's always says, "Be kind to yourself and others." I hope I'm saying that right. Which is so important. And being kind to yourself is sometimes not easy. And yeah, so Kelly, love you. And Gina at Gina Stan Your Books. We had a little thing going where she calls me MMM for Marilyn Mendoza. So yeah, she reads what she calls her old ladies, and we have that in common. We love reading about elderly characters, and there's a lot of booktubers now who are reading more and respecting older women characters who are phenomenal, because you can be, as you get older, sometimes you feel invisible. And when you write a book about a phenomenal elderly woman, the younger people realize that, hey, we're not so different. And then the generation gap becomes smaller. And that's why I love Gina, and also she's just fun. She's a fun booktuber. A new one for me is Mariandrea at Books and Bocadillos. I'm pretty sure she's a Latina like me booktuber, and she's such a sweet person. Check out her channel because she deserves more subscribers than she has. Jolene, a Canadian booktuber, Bookworm Adventure Girl. I found a lot of Canadian, between her and Lindy, I found a lot of new authors to love, and she's so sweet and kind, and she does a lot of original tags. I did one of her tags recently, in fact. Now, I'm proud of the next one because Sarah at Roadworthy, she was not a booktuber. I'm not even sure she was a subscriber of mine, but we read Frankenstein together, and when she was talking about Frankenstein, which is not in my wheelhouse, I thought, at all, I said to her, you need to have your own channel. And she's growing, she's wonderful, and she also met Lindy recently, and I went to Canada and met Lindy, so we have that in common as well. And we just finished a buddy read that was just wonderful. I have to talk about Cathy at Grim Reader, Cathy Grimm at the Grim Reader, I think her channel is. I'll get that right down in the comments. I love her kitty cat. I love that she talks about personal things, like she suffers from chronic pain, as I do. And I love when we get into other subjects beside books, because we're not just one-dimensional booktubers. We have a lot of dimensions. For example, there's knitting booktubers. There's like Lindy knits. There's another, and I'll have her down below. I can't remember her name now, but she's also knits. And there's booktubers who do sports. There's booktubers who have other things that they're interested in, and that just makes it more interesting, I think, when we learn more about the extracurricular activities of our favorite booktubers. And I'm going to end with Hannah. Hannah is what we say in Spanish, but Hannah at Hannah's Books. Wonderful person, super smart, caring. I really, really appreciate your channel. You've taught me so much, and I love all these people. So I think I went on too long for a tag, but I wanted to thank you so much for everybody who's been supporting not only my channel, my event, but liking and subscribing. I really appreciate all of you. And when I'm down, I know I can go and speak to you, and I know you will understand where I'm coming from. So please do this book tag if you can, and let me know when you do it. Hashtag me, hashtag the Phenomenal Woman Booktube tag, somehow, or just hashtag me. And I'll see you, I hope, on Tuesday. I see someone doing this book tag, because we're all phenomenal women, and there's some phenomenal men out there too. So thank you as always, and aloha.